ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भूतभव्य भवत्प्रभो प्रशान्त साई भूतात्मा धर्मात्मा श्रीधन्वन्तरी अंश श्री सत्य साईने मम प्रार्थना। उत्तिष्ठ शोक संकट दुःख निवारण महाकृपा कटाक्ष पाहि मां पाहि मां पाहि। ॐ भूतभव्य भवत्प्रभो प्रशान्त साई भूतात्मा धर्मात्मा श्रीधन्वन्तरी अंश श्री सत्य साईने मम प्रार्थना। उत्तिष्ठ शोक संकट दुःख निवारण महाकृपा कटाक्ष पाहि मां पाहि। ॐ भूतभव्य भवत्प्रभो प्रशान्त साई भूतात्मा धर्मात्मा श्रीधन्वन्तरी अंश श्री सत्य साईने मम प्रार्थना। उत्तिष्ठ शोक संकट दुःख निवारण महाकृपा कटाक्ष पाहि मां पाहि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। साईरा।
Sai Ram and welcome to all the devotees of Sri Sai Sparshan and our Satsang 45th session online. And it's a great opportunity again, every week and week, every Saturday. Swami is blessing us with this opportunity, and let us utilize that opportunity to best of our capability and best of our privileges. And we'll start today's session. Today is Sri Plavanama Samvatsara, Uttarayana, Grishma Rutu, Jyeshta Masa, Shukla Paksha, Dvitiya Tithi, Shanivasana Yuktaha, Stiravasana Yuktayam. And today we again attribute this day to the worship of Lord Sai Venkateshwara, Hanuman, Maruti, Anjaneya, Sri Rama, Sri Shanishwara, Sri Navagraha Devatas, Sri Vigneshwara, and Sakal Devata Swarupa Sri Bhagavan, Sri Shirdi Baba, Satya Sai Baba. And also this Mrityunjaya Stotra is an important thing. Mrityunjaya Rudraya, Nilakantaya Shambhave, Amritesha Sharvaya, Mahadeva Iti Namah, because he is the one who guards all of us against all the evils and even the death, even the fear of death. For we read some one or two messages of what we saw in Sai's version, and followed by one or two other messages before we go into our topic today. And I saw a moving one message from one lady, a devotee alumnus of Satsai Education Institutions called Vinita Singh. Maybe some people would have read it. And she was a young mother of two small daughters. And she, I think, recently with the COVID treatment, she couldn't survive. And before she went to ICU, and she recorded two bhajans, which has been given in Sai's version, that forwarded by Vinod. And I hope every devotee should be able to listen to it, because I am taking as the first starting topic for that today is the Bhakta and Bhagavanta. See, we may be listing a couple of Bhaktas, so-called, as per our what we read in books and Puranas and all that. But every Sai devotee has got their own pulsations. And that too, many a times when you are in sorrow, when you are in distress, you can't even think of God's name. And if somebody could remember the Swami's name, let alone that, even sing a bhajan and record it in the audio, and then go into the ICU, and then if they are not there, it means and she has certainly met with Swami, and keeping that memory of that lady Vinita Singh, a great bhakta, and that's why starting with her name as one of the Mahabhaktas to start with today. And followed by that, I also read one good message of how the Sai Dharma, Sarvadharma symbol was born. And it has been reported that when Sri Kasturi and Sri Indulal Shah were doing Padaseva of Bhagavan in a room, because again, why I am mentioning about Sri Kasturi and Sri Indulal Shah, again, they are Mahabhaktas of Swami. See, all these people who had had the opportunity of serving Swami, absolutely they are Mahabhaktas. So, although we'll be talking about them separately in the future sessions, and when they noticed Bhagavan was drawing a sketch on a piece of paper, and then Swami handed over that piece of paper to Kasturi, and to his surprise, they saw the symbols of 5 religions drawn in a circle, while in the center there was a back portion of Bhagavan's own head, mostly depicting its matchless hair. But Sri Kasturi, being a great devotee, asked Swami why the back of the face and not the front is appearing in the symbol. Baba explained, so you may not keep the paper in the safe and do nothing about it. Many a time, whenever we get Swami's photo or Swami's picture, we try to keep it very safe. And so much safe, we don't even see it. And we don't even worship it. And it is kept in the safe. And Bhagavan then clarified the point. This will be the symbol of the Sai organizations, 5 religions in the circle with symbol of Prashanti, the lotus in the center. This was the birth of the Sarvodharma symbol, which we all adore in every bhajan center and display at every function and exhibit whenever we intend to carry Sai message. And we all remember our Prashanti Nilayam, where near to Swami's residence, in between the Kulwant Hall and Swami's residence, and we see the Sarvodharma Stupa, a great architectural kind of construction, and which is one of the monuments of Prashanti Nilayam. And with this 2-3 messages, and one more message I saw daily is the devotion of our Sai Youth Wing devotees, young people, and they are doing between 9 and 9:15 p.m. in the night, 15 minutes, the Sai Sat Sai Shri Sai Gayatri mantra meditation, which is a great vibration. And that is really one of the very unifying factors. And this Gayatri mantra is a very powerful vibration. And I really appreciate the efforts of the Sai youth in this connection, and let this great work continue. Sai Ram. And then we continue with our topic for today. Swami has said that in one of the sessions that how people come to Swami saying, I want peace, I want peace. And Swami says, in what you are asking with Swami, I want peace. First is I, second is want, third is peace. Then how can you get it? You come and ask me and pray me. See, what is required is I is the ego first. That ego you have to remove. Then want is a desire. You remove your I ego, you remove your want desire, then what remains is peace, and you will always be peaceful. And that's what the essence of peaceful life. And Swami has also given some advice about how to live a peaceful life. Is when you become desireless, and when you become egoless, and when you have no kind of desire to do possess anything, because possessionless. The only possession should be to have God with us. And that's why to have Swami in our heart. And that's why the where is Bhagavanta to be found mean? Bhagavanta is to be found in the hearts of devotees. And that's what we should pray for. But Swami comes and resides. Although Swami says, I am residing in your heart, but we are not able to realize it. So let him give us the power and the strength and the devotion to see Swami in our hearts. And also there are one or two other messages which I'll just read, which are all powerful messages, because to make our Sai Satsang more vibrant, we are adding various materials and messages from different places, so that it becomes a very useful media for all of us to understand that. And Swami said, I appreciate punctuality and all work of duty done at the given time. Postponing given projects only shows me a lack of commitment, a lack of duty of love. Anything done hurriedly is also done under the stress of completing it. And when your heart is not in your work, I am definitely not present in that work. Whatever you do half-heartedly, think that results are going to be really bad. Consider all projects given to you, the assignments, the portfolios, as work that is handed to me, handed by me to you. Don't think that somebody has given some work to you. It is being handed over by me to you. Accept them with eagerness. Because if you don't, it will go to so many others who are ready to do it better than you. Carry them out promptly, the full sense of duty and love. Do I show any tardiness when you people call upon me? When thousands of you call me from different parts of the globe, I answer instantaneously. Why don't you do it? I rescue you from the clutches of your own karma. Even though sometimes you do not give me credit for it, you owe it yourself. You want things changed immediately whenever you come. And as per your wish, you make several wishes and you want results immediately. Will a mother feed a child only with chocolate just because he likes them? I don't know what is good for you. I follow all the rules that I have set for you. Do not waste any more time. You do not know the amount of time I have allotted to each one of you. You do not know. Use your available time wisely in your current body. Don't postpone it. I do it later, next week, next month. I don't know whether next day, next month, next week will at all come to most of us. Complete all your work successfully. Offer it at my feet and gain my grace. Krishna gave a discourse to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, same way. And this was the teaching given by the Lord himself thousands of years. And Swami says, I unfold this Gita to you in the form of Satsa, to my bhaktas. I regard all of you as my great Mahabhaktas. And that's why I am giving these messages. These messages that I pour upon you. Not only give, he says, I pour upon you. Many a time discourses are so long sometimes and very wonderful, meaningful. He says, why I am taking so much time to give you all these messages? He is because you are my bhaktas. By the most ignorant of ignorant also should be understanding this. I give you the precious jewels of my wisdom. To confer upon others, I am handing out to you today all the weapons you need to fight in this battle of Kurukshetra, not the Kurukshetra, but the Kurukshetra of your life. And you have to make it a Dharma Kshetra. I have seen you lose hundreds of times in your battle. Every day, every minute, you are losing to one or the other thing due to your lack of faith and purity. But today I come as a mother, I lift my child from the puddle of that. I will wash you and cleanse you and remove all your impurities and reveal you your true form and your true parent. Read these messages over and over. Meditate upon them. Understand the significance and use them to end your body and emerge your Atma, yes, pure Atmic presence that lies in all. Connects your presence in them and ultimately in me. For my love for all of you is saying, don't think I'm giving more love to somebody. less love to somebody, less grace to somebody. My love knows no favoring, no partiality. We would have seen in many of our side circle that Swami says, no influence, no mediator, no agents in between me and my devotee. I am a mother to all. I encourage that the good. I encourage all the good. I transform the wicked. But my goal is the same to both. To be unattached and to realize the true self. Get unattached as early as possible. Don't get attached to many things. Do not judge me. Do not judge my love for others. Why are you so jealous of my love to others? If I give interviews to somebody, if I give some gift to somebody, why are you jealous? For you, you will only belittle me and yourself by doing that. My medicine is given, but medicine is given only to sick people. If somebody who is not sick also wants medicine, then what is? Because somebody says, but COVID patient, he was hospitalized. I am not hospitalized. Thank God, you are not hospitalized. No medicine is given to you because you don't need any medicine. You are not sick. Depending on the needs of the disease. When the disease is all threatening, I put the patient under my intensive care unit. Somebody complains, Swami, he is put into ICU. I was given a general ward. I was not put into ICU. Swami says, why do you want ICU? I am looking after you intensively. You are under my intensive care of my affection and love. Smaller the illness of the soul makes me home visit the patient to cure him. Many a time, Swami said, I am myself visiting. No nurse, no doctor, no COVID cell is required to call upon you. I am myself coming to your home, visit you. If you are doing satsang, if you are doing bhajans, I am there with you. I am your nurse. I am your doctor. Have faith in my abilities. I have a doctorate in healing. I am just not a doctor. I am a doctorate of doctors. I am fully the person who can see the disease before disease comes and attack you. Accept my cures. Accept my cure. Recover and be healthy always. And this is very much applicable in today's particularly epidemic, the corona effect. And that's why all our Sai devotees can be fully sure that Swami's assurance has been that it will protect all of us always. And similarly, Swami has said that. One word very strongly, Swami says, leave your attachment to as much less as possible so that you will overcome. And don't get immersed in selfish pursuits and interests. Men seek everything for only selfish reasons and have no regard for the transcendental. Everything is designed for self-enjoyment. You want more, more, more. And not out of love for the sake of love. And you love just because somebody asked you to utter the four-letter word love and you say. You don't really mean it. You have to mean it from your heart. We should love for the sake of the divine, to realize the eternal. Love should be for experiencing the effulgence of the wisdom. For love is just an amalgam of sweetness, effulgence, and wisdom. Compassion is a reflection of love. Jesus is the embodiment of compassion, Swami says. He looked with compassion on the poor and the miserable and gave them the succor. In these days, people used to treat birds and animals without pity in the temple in Jerusalem. Jesus started to put an end to all these cruel practices. And then God always let us people. Good people are always pursued by difficulties and troubles. Many a time there is a complaint to Swami. Because Swami says, always people come to me calling themselves bhaktas. Always complaints. Lot of complaints. And lot of complaints against somebody, against themselves, against something, whatever they see across. They're full of complaints instead of devotion. They're always pursued. But Swami says, this all complaints, keep it with you. There's all tests for you. Good people are always pursued by difficulties and troubles. The Messiah is the prophet, the saints, and the godmen have always suffered from troubles and ordeals of various kinds. You should not feel bothered about the ordeals which you pass through. Have faith in God. When you live up to the truths you believe in, you will be indifferent to what others think of you. Don't get worried. And one more quote, and we'll go to our topic. A fine diamond, even if it is in a heap of garbage, a fine diamond, even if it is in a heap of garbage, will not lose its brilliance or its value. A pumpkin, even if it is grown beside a hedge, will not lose its sweetness, even though it is grown beside a hedge. A pigeon's egg, even if it is hatched in a crow's nest, will not lose its color and it will have its own beauty. Likewise, the glory and the greatness of good men will suffer no diminution in whatsoever circumstances or situation. they may be placed. That's what the Mahabhakta story will reveal to us. Such divine effulgence is shining in every human being. Love is an expression of this effulgence. To manifest this love, men must be prepared to bear every kind of suffering and side devotee. Don't feel bad if you are required to suffer. If you are suffering and under the name of Swami and with keeping the name of Swami on your lips, but suffering will become a blessing. Can the sweet juice of the sugar cane be had for making sugar without the cone being crushed? It has to be crushed so that you get the sweet juice. The human body is like the sugar cane filled with the juice of love. It's only when the body is subjected to hardship that the divine sweet juice of love can flow from it. Without trouble to the body, pains to the mind, and control the feeling, how can you expect to experience the divine? Men today aspire for liberation with no suffering on their part. They want liberation to be purchased and instant. God's love is not to be secured so easily. The precious gem of love can be obtained only in the bazaar of sacrifice. But to go into the bazaar of sacrifice, not Gandhi Bazaar, not some other bazaar where you will purchase things. And you have to go to the bazaar of sacrifice and do sacrifice. It is valued only in the kingdom of love. So how can it be purchased in a market of cheap wares? And Swami concludes saying that that's why the bhaktas are always given this special kind of a strength to bear the trouble and still continue with Swami. That's the what difference between the ordinary bhaktas and the Mahabhaktas. Ordinary bhaktas are like the leaves of many a tree which wither off. Even with the slightest push, slightest wind, it will fall off. And a proper thing, a Mahabhakta is like a tree which does not fall even when a tsunami comes, even when a big kind of rains come, lot of rains come, even when it is unaffected, it stays tall, it stays strong. And then we have also learned in the Bhagavad Gita that Swami says that there are four types of bhaktas who come to God. Arti, who is wanting some help, redressal, refuge, shelter, and the Artharthi, wanting money, house, material, marriage, children, job, promotion. The Jignasi or Yogi, who is having analysis and synthesis of Adhyatma. The Gnani, who is doing the tapas, the studies of Purana, the Veda, Upanishad, and the wanting enlightenment and merger with Swami, and wanting knowledge. He is the person who has got a lot of knowledge and he wants to go acquire more of jnana about Swami and the Brahma Jnana. So Swami says the first one is the part-time type of devotees who come and go. Sometimes they make a pleasure trip to Prashanti Nilayam. They come and go, and they come in the morning, hop out in the afternoon, and go back and say we have gone to Prashanti Nilayam, and then go and worship many deities, many temples, but no Shraddha, no Saburi. They come many a time to make others know that they are also devotees. And the Artharthi, who wants money, house, marriage, children, job, promotion, he is the Artharthi, who wants economical kind of promotions or economical benefits. They are also little part-time, but little long-time, because they make little more frequent visitor. That means they are more frequently visiting to temples, the puja, the homa, and lot of the rajas type of activity they undertake. The Jignasi, the yogi, he is always in the meditation, the dhyana, giving lectures, satsang, pilgrimage, temples, and such things, the Jignasi. The Gnani is always doing tapas, the studies of Purana, the Veda, Upanishads, and all these things. He is interested only in knowing the Brahma Jnana. And also Swami used to say many a time, somebody says, I am a devotee, he is not a devotee. Like many a time, lot of times, when devotees used to come, either the husband or this wife, some used to say, my husband is not a devotee, he is an atheist. Swami used to say, who is an atheist? Nobody is an atheist, everybody is a devotee. But somebody do not know they are devotees. And about atheist is Swami say, Agnani. That means he doesn't know, that's all. And he used to say he is a Vichandavadi, and he is a Shramavadi, he is a Kutarki, illogical person, critic, Hatayogi, all these things. But most of such people, we have read in our so many devotee stories of Swami, that they all later accepted and became Swami's devotees. Even Shirdi Sai Baba also. And Swami says nobody is atheist. Nobody can survive without believing in God. The only difference is a believer or a devotee believes in God early. He says God is now here, and he says God is now here. But whereas the atheist starts with God is nowhere. And only thing is, the God is nowhere. Later, when he realizes the atheist and when he becomes a devotee, he understands God is now here. The same letters rewritten, rephrased, God is now here. That is the realization. Similarly, Swami Vivekananda was asking Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and also Ramana Maharshi similarly, a lot of disciples are asking, have you seen God? And many a time when people ask, have you seen God? Similarly, a lot of devotees of Swami used to ask somebody else, have you seen God? And then when they went and asked Swami, what is the reply we to you? He said, yes, very, very decidedly, determinationally. You tell with determination, yes, I have seen God, and he is our Satya Sai Baba. And when we have a conviction to declare among any crowd, wherever it is, yes, we have seen God, and we have seen God, talked to God, interviewed with God, and God, we have had a discussion with God. Yes, we have seen the living God, the Swami, in his physical presence. Now also in the Sukshma Swarupa, we have been seeing God. And Swami is listening to this lecture, listening to this satsang. He is with us always, everywhere. Yes, this should be our belief. That's what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told Vivekananda and made Vivekananda accept it. Otherwise, he was atheist and Brahma Samaji. So similarly, when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was questioned, he said, not only that I have seen God, I can make you see God. And provided, yes, you have got the conviction and devotion. And about, they are the people who not only have seen God, and they are the Mahabhaktas who can make others also see God and realize that. Therefore, Swami used to say, I am God, I can declare it because I am aware of it. I also say, you are also God. Divyatma Swarupalara. He addresses all of us. And we don't know that, that's all. You say you are not unaware because you have to have this awareness process. This satsang is one of the steps of understanding this process. And from unawareness state to the stateness of the state of awareness. And that's what all the satsang does. Satsang is just not a kind of another time waste program. It is a program where every minute is thinking about Swami and thinking about God awareness and realization state. And Ajnana to Dana to Suknana to Pragnana. That's what the steps are. The knowledge of Parabrahma, Paramatma. A lot of our bhajans are sung to declare this, and we know many of the bhajans are proclaiming this. And therefore, Bhagavanta is our Swami. And therefore, Mahabhaktas are these Jnanis or Jignasi Bhaktas. And therefore, it is nothing different. And therefore, today we will have a small story about Sri Pundalika, a great devotee of Panduranga Vitala. And this happened in Pandarapura. And Chandra Pandarapura, as most of the Vittal devotees are aware, and even Swami started this Panduranga Bhajan Samiti in Putpatti in the beginning, and then he was also singing himself Panduranga Bhajans, and we are known all the Vittal Bhajans are so strong, and they become the higher pitch also, and you will see certainly Vittala almost coming and standing in the form of Sai Vittala to us, and above the Panduranga. And Pundarika was staying in a village called Loha Danda village near Chandrabhaga river. Chandrabhaga river is a tributary of the Bhima river. And the Bhima Chandrabhaga river Sangama, that's where today the Pandarapur is there. And there one Brahmin priest was there, Jahnu, and was a very pious, honest, dharmic person. His wife was called Satyaki Devi. She was a noblewoman and a wife, and she had no children. Both of them had no children. And therefore, they were praying to God Satyanarayana and God Narayana and the Panduranga. And by grace of Narayana, a son was born to them. And then, since his eyes were delightful, like the Pundalika, the leaf of fruit, and he named their son as Pundarika. And Pundarika was the son born to them by the grace of Narayana. And Upanayana was done, and the education in Gurukulam was also done, and he was also got married at a proper age to a good girl from a nearby village known to them. And because of past sins, this boy, although was educated, and also he had had his Gurukulam education, Upanayana was done, got married also, wife was good, wife was noble, but because of his past sins, he had bad company and made all types of sins, including visiting low moral women's houses and even playing, gambling, and all sorts of the kind of bad virtues that he acquired. And he started because of the bad company. Many times Swami used to say, you tell me your company, I will say who you are and what you are. And because of this bad company, he started beating his wife. We have seen in many houses even now, beating and abusing wife. And not only that, even beating and abusing parents. This are also we are seeing in many houses. And our Swami used to almost put his tears in his eyes when Swami used to say, what is the use of coming to Prashanti Nilayam and doing the bhajans or doing the seva here if you are not able to look after your own aged parents and your wife or your children properly? Don't come to here. Don't make a kind of a show that you are also devotee and doing these things. Care for your people first. And then that seva is also seva to God. And the parents were worried, naturally, because they had got their son after puja to Narayana. And Swami Narayana, why have you given a son like this? They were worried and they were crying every day before Swami. And then what happened after this? Sometimes by their prayers, when they were making, this Pundalika happened to meet some pilgrims who are going to Kashi. He met them because they were going to Kashi. He said, let me also go to Kashi. He got that goodwill because of his, again, punya of his parents. And then he listened to stories of Kashi Vishwanatha, Mahima, and because of he got interested to go to Kashi also himself. And then not only himself, he also got interest to take his wife. That's a good thing. Both wife and himself left for Kashi on 2 horses. They hired 2 horses and they started for Kashi. And then before reaching Kashi, they went to an ashram of a Muni called Kukuta Muni ashram, and was a great sage. And then when he went there, he could see for his astonishment that 3 women were doing worship of this sage, Kukuta Muni. And they were Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. 3 river deities themselves were worshipping sage and doing his seva, because this Kukuta Muni was worshipping his parents and he was not doing anything else. Because he was doing seva to his parents, serving his parents, these 3 rivers, the deities, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, were doing his seva. And when inquired, this Pundarika inquires as to who are there, they said that we are Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. And then the moment that they saw him, they immediately know that this person has not looked after his aged parents properly. They blamed Pundarika and accused him. Why are you coming here? You are a cheat. You are a sinful person. Don't even enter this ashram. Don't make this unholy. Get out. Get back to your place. Person who do not serve or look after his parent are useless persons born on this world. They are a burden to this earth. Get out. Like that, even the 3 river deities, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, shouted at him. But he asked for pardon. And he said, no, I am a little changed person now. I want your pardon. And then he was asked to return back, and he decided to return. But only thought, since I am nearing Kashi now, I will visit Kashi and then go back. And inquired the sage about the Kashi as to how far is it from there. And the Kukuta Muni says, I don't know. But then this man inquires, you are near to Kashi. Have you not gone to Kashi at all? He says, no, I am not aware. I did not have time. I am worshipping my parents, looking after them. I didn't have time to even go to Kashi. And I do not want to also know where Kashi is, because leaving my parents, I will not got to go to Kashi Vishwanath, because I will not be pleased with my worship there. And he said, I will not leave my aged sick parent. I am busy in this worship itself. And their worship is equal to God's worship. And the Kukuta Muni again told him that better he goes back to his parents. And then the river deities again accused him and asked Pundarika and to go back, to return to his village and come back purified. And now, regretting for all his misdeeds in the past and sinful acts, now Pundarika asked for forgiveness and went back to his village, and he fell at the feet of his parents, whom he had discarded all these years. And then they pardoned him, as parents do generally with their children, however bad they are. Children will be accepted by the parent at any time, in any manner. And therefore, they all excused him. And however, now, regretfully, he has learnt a lesson. Now, Pundalika did not leave his wish to go to Kashi. He said, now, I want to go to Kashi along with you. But they were not able to walk. They were not able to move. And he said, yes, I will take all of you to Kashi on the Kavadi. And that's how this Panduranga Kavadi Yatra. Because many a time you would have seen in Prashanti Nilayam, the Ashadi Ekadashi day, the Kavadi Yatra used to come. and there is a doli where it carries parents, carrying parents. In doli now, in the Kavadi Yatra to Prashanti Nilayam, they are bringing Swami, Sai, Panduranga photos. And then this Pandulika made parents sit in that, and both his wife and he carried it to the Kashi and then went to the ashram of now again Kukutamani on the way. And the river deity is the Ganga Yamuna Saraswati, now who had accused him before, welcomed Pundarika and praised him. And now, along with them, he went to Kashi with parents and had a holy bath in the great Bhagirathi Ganga river in Kashi. And then they visited the holy shrine of Kashi Vishwanatha, had the Ganga Abhishekam to Kashi Vishwanatha Swami. And Saraswati Yamuna and Saraswati and in the Sangama in the Triveni in Allahabad Prayag, they also had a dip and had the wonderful darshan and blessings of Sri Kashi Vishwanatha, Sai Vishwanatha. All the gods were placed when they went, even the deities from above, they all said, yes, very well, you are done. You have brought your parent this holy pilgrimage. And then they said, Matu Devo Bhava, Pitu Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. Swami used to always extol on that. He used to almost say, if you are not cared for your parent, don't come to Prashanti Nilayam. Don't come and study in Swami institutions. This was a great kind of slogan. And then after this, he returned to village. And Sri Vitala was pleased with his devotion to his parent. And himself, when he came back to his village along with his parent, and Swami Purandara Vitala, Panduranga Vitala, he himself appeared before the Pundalika and asked him, what are the boons you want? Because Panduranga said, you are a Nijabhakta. And as we know, Nijabhakta is the true devotee. And Swami says, I'm always searching for a true devotee. That's why the avatars take place in search of devotee on earth. And that's why Bhagavanta cannot stay in Vaikuntha. He comes in search of devotees on the earth. And that's how the Vitala says that Pundarika is his Nijabhakta and asks for boons. But again, when he asked for boons, you should, then only Pundarika prayed, nothing more now he wanted. He had realized all his earlier follies. He said, Swami, you should now stand where you have come, and therefore I will keep a brick for you to stand. You should stand like this only, so that you give darshan of you to all the persons on this earth, whoever comes, so that you can rid all of them of their worries and sorrows and diseases. And that's what Boni asked, and that's how Lord Vitala stood on the brick given by Pundarika on the same place. That's what is today regarded as the Pandarapura. And he put a brick for Narayana and the Panduranga Swami for standing on those always. Today we see whoever visits Pandarapura can see Vitala standing, not sitting, standing, because he wants to serve his devotees. A standing God for a sitting or a sleeping devotee. That's what the greatness of Bhagavanta. Bhagavanta for Bhakta. Bhakta for Bhagavanta. Bhakta is always showing and saying that Bhagavanta is with me. And when we see even in the Sri Ramachandra and Hanuman episode, Hanuman says, when somebody asks him, where is your Sama? He says, not anywhere else. He is in my heart. He just pierces and opens up his heart and chest the chest is shown. That Rama is always there in me. And therefore, they say, Hrudaya, Nijabhakta Hrudaya Mandara, Nijabhakta Hrudaya Vihari. These are all our several Sai bhajans, which we are all aware. And therefore, that reveals the real meaning. And therefore, Panduranga, along with Rukmini, they are settled permanently in the heart of the Pundalika Bhakta. And not only that, he later merged in Panduranga Vitala Swami eventually. And therefore, this lesson is that serving parent is serving God. And for such people, you don't have to go in search of God. God comes and serves them. Like he went into the house of Bali, and at the doors of Bali, Vamana, the Vishnu, still protecting him and standing there. Similarly, God serves those who are serving their parent and other people who are in sorrow. Nija Bhakta Hrudaya Vihari. And therefore, then all these bhajans are wonderful bhajans. And then with this, we are closing the topic of the Mahabhakta Pundarika today. And in the coming weeks, let us see by the grace of Swami, whatever he prompts, that we will go ahead accordingly. Saira, there's a bhajan, and we are closing this. Saira.
साईराम। अरज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु पतीश्वर साई देवा, अरज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु सत्य सनातन अंतर्यामी सकल चराचर तुम हो स्वामी, सकल चराचर तुम हो स्वामी, जन्म मरण से पार करो, जन्म मरण से पार करो, भव बंधन से उद्धार करो बाबा, भव बंधन से उद्धार करो, अरज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु। साईरा।
Sairam to all of you. Thanks for this nice session. And only the last quote for today. Swami Tulsidas has said, Hari Anant, Harikatha Anant, Harikatha Ananta. Which means that whatever we are talking about, Bhaktas and Mahabhaktas are Ananta, that is infinite. So there is no end for it. The only beginning. And we have to start, and we have started. Let us go on singing the glory of Mahabhaktas. And one more quote is, life with Swami is hope. And life without Swami is a hopeless end. And expect nothing and accept whatever is granted to you as is Mahaprasadam. Sairam. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Sairam, uncle. Sairam.
Sairam.